I found that my students are doing a lot more homework. One of the things I did in class was I showed them the teacher view for Frankenstories on the board. I said, look, your Frankenstories collects all your work and mine collects all of your work too. So when I meet with your parents, I show them all this stuff. And that was a great deterrent for stopping all the skibbity toilets. And it was really good because it showed them that I could see that they were doing the homework and when they weren't doing the homework. And yeah, I found the students actually enjoy having a Frankenstories for homework. Something a bit different.
You mentioned last time that the kids were asking for Frankenstories homework. Are they still enthusiastic?
They are. They really love it. I did use the My Version part of the program. It was really helpful because it gave the kids an opportunity to revise a story they'd written for homework. We've also been getting a lot of use out of Writelike. We were using one of the Writelike modules and it had a link to the Frankenstories game that accompanied, which was a really great way to gather formative data. They did the Writelike as kind of flipped classroom at home for homework, and then we could do the Frankenstories in class, which was a great way to see how they were applying what they did at home.
Flipped classroom? How do you mean?
A flipped classroom, for example, it's not me up the front teaching them how to do dialogue. They use Writelike to learn how to do dialogue, and then they come in and they show me what they've learned, and we do that through Frankenstories, and we do that through various activities in the class. And we use class time for that collaborative learning. I found that particularly helpful with my classes because it puts some of the onus on them and they're not all sitting there pretending to listen during class. Frankenstories and Writelike both provide a really, really easy, user-friendly way of collating all that data as well, which is much appreciated because it saves a lot of time. I find it's a much better use of my time as a teacher because it means that I can immediately tell who's struggling because they've already had a go at it and they're coming in armed with, this is what I don't know. We follow the 7 steps of writing here when we're teaching writing. So I'd love to be able to match those to like our unit plan and then have that as kind of like a formalized routine where it's the expectation that they do the Writelike at home and then they come and put it into practice on Frankenstories. I think that's proven a really effective way because they get involved and they find it fun. And so then my job is to fill the gaps rather than starting from scratch. It's nice to give the kids some of that autonomy back. Like if you can identify where you're having some issues, why don't you go and find a way to practice it? And I think Frankenstories is a really powerful tool for that.